Story from street performing. This was back in the 1990s. I used to work hundreds of days a year at the South Street Seaport, where I was able to make a good living wage. I had a successful show in the 90s and 2000s. And even after 9/11, I was an organizer and for the street performers and musicians and dancers and everybody after 9/11. And while I was also working downtown at a church school. Anyway, this story is from the South Street Seaport, and it's titled "How to Make $100 in Spare Change." And I guess I had already been at the Seaport for maybe 10 years, so I did have some regulars who would watch me street perform and juggle. And if you don't know much about street performing, there's stock lines, and you really want to, after a certain amount of time, certainly you want to start to work on original material. Whether you're able to do that on your own or if you have friends that will help you with that, that's a whole nother story. If they want to support you or not. But I was performing at the South Street Seaport here, and let's see. It was out here by the ships, and in the summertime, boy, you can get some really large crowds. I mean, I'd have crowds of 400 or 500 out on the ships because I'd have a rather large circle because it's a juggling show and it's big fire torches being thrown up in the air at sunset. So it's really a wonderful place to perform. And you can just have really good weekends and pay your monthly bills. I mean, I wasn't getting super rich, but again, I'm a sort of, an above average juggler, and my show was enjoyed by a lot of families. So one night I'm at the South Street Seaport by here, the Peking ship, and that might be the Waver Tree, though. That looks like the Waver Tree. Yeah, the Peking's the one behind it. So if I go to this photo, you can see the Peking's not even in dock. But there's the Ambrose Lightship. And the Peking is here. But, well, this is sort of an artist rendition. But along that, look, there's a horse and buggy there. So this is definitely an artist painting of the South Street Seaport. But let's find an actual photo then of the Peking. South Street Seaport Peking apron. So on the apron, you can get, like I said, really large shows, but it's on these wooden slats. So I want a good shot like this shot right here. Like if you look at this photo here, this is where I would street perform. It's when folks take a break and you can sit on these benches and there's a line to get on the ship and get the tour ship of this P-class 3-master from Germany, the Peking ship, which is trading ship. And there's all at the South Street Seaport. So here on these wooden slats, I get to make a giant circle and do a juggling show. So anyway, it's coming to the end of the show, and it's a beautiful summer night, and maybe an hour before sunset. And I have a crowd of a few hundred, maybe 300 or so, and it's getting deep, maybe 2-3 people deep. And I'm about to light my torches, so I put my tip bag on the ground in front of me, which was this sort of Mexican hand-woven, multicolored bag that you could sort of fit a bowling ball in. And so it was about that size. And this kid walks over and puts in $1, and I say thank you for the tip. And he runs back to his folks. And I'm about to do some type of traditional, like, stock bit, like, anybody have a cigarette lighter? And I'm holding the torches, to get a larger crowd. So it's sort of a stalling technique and to build tension in the crowd. So I'm like, anyone have a cigarette lighter I can use? And I go like this with my hand, and someone shouts like, use yours. And I go, I don't smoke, because I don't smoke. But I usually did carry a Zippo cigarette lighter, a silver one or brass, that I had in my pocket. But I'd always ask anyway, just for the audience interaction. So then usually silence, and go to the kids. I'd yell at the audience. I go, kid, you got a cigarette lighter? No? Good. Okay, kid, you got a cigarette lighter? No. Kid, you got a cigarette lighter? So then finally someone gives you a cigarette lighter. And I put it in my pocket. I take out my Zippo, like my torches. So that was something that I sort of did as part of the show. Was one of these sort of moments like that. And instead, I said, "Does anyone have a cigarette lighter?" And someone from behind me threw coins way up into the air, and they came raining down on me and onto the bag, into the bag, as the kid leaves and he goes back to his mom and dad. So a couple of them hit me on the head and the shoulders, so I wasn't happy about that. But I was thankful for the tip, so I look up at the heavens, like the tip came from God or came from an airplane. So I'm looking and I don't see any airplanes or helicopters up there. So I yell up at the heavens and I go, "Hey, thanks for the tip. Next time, try and get it in the bag." Right? And the crowd doesn't laugh. And I thought that was funny. And I don't know why they think I'm a heathen or something, or they think I'm some godless street urchin, because I'm all sweaty. I'm in a t-shirt and scruffy baggy pants, I think, at the time, and juggling for tips with my fire flaming torches. So some of the parents start digging into their pocket. So I think, okay, I'm now going to get my cigarette lighter. So instead, they take the change out of their pocket and they throw it towards the bag, missing the bag. So this causes a chain reaction in the crowd for some unknown reason to me. I'm the annoying one at this point. And people behind me start throwing their change like they're throwing it into a fountain, right? And it causes this weird chain reaction. Parents are reaching into their pockets and they're handing their loose change, their coins, to their kids, and the kids are throwing them at me, like throwing them, and it's bouncing off my chest, it's bouncing off my legs. And I'm not crying, but I'm like pouting, and now I'm the funny clown. It's hit the clown time. So they're all throwing their change in my direction. So for a good 2 minutes, the entire crowd is pelting me with pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. And you can hear the rain of coins, like during like a 30-second period, like landing like jackpot, like landing, bouncing off my body and landing at my feet. A few of the coins getting in the bag, and the rest are just like a huge, like if you had like a flashlight, or if you had like you shine lights on, the apron was covered in silver coins and pennies and those little dollar coins. So everyone's laughing at me. So I'm standing there like, this stupid, sweaty, I don't know what I am. So what I am to them, the stupid, sweaty, loudmouth street performer who's now shut up. And that was funny to them, that I wasn't yelling at the top of my lungs, "Hey, thanks for the tip, buddy. Get it in the bag next time." That I wasn't some loudmouth, obnoxious street kid. I bent over, and for a good 3 minutes, with them still throwing coins at me and kids still giggling with their parents and laughing at me as they threw coins at me, I picked up all the coins because I couldn't use like a broom and dustpan to get all these coins because they go through the slats. It's a wooden pier, and then I'd lose like dollars of coins. So I had to pick them up by hand, throw them in the bag. It's taken 5 minutes for me to pick up all the coins. It was so heavy, I held it in a sack with one hand. I held the unlit torches. Keep in mind, I didn't have to juggle for these people, these hundreds of people who are laughing at me because I shut up. Finally, the guy shut up. And I'm holding the coins. I turned all to them and I said, "Thank you for your tips. This was very nice of you. Thank you." And I have these emotions of like, "Shut up, kid. Here's your stupid tip, and get out of my face." So I go over to my Foot Locker and I open it up. I put the coins in. I'm holding the torches. I still haven't done the torch routine. And I go, "Folks, kids, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show. That's it. My name's Josh. Good night." And I don't even juggle the torches. I just put the torches in the trunk and close it. The bag was so heavy. It was heavy like a bowling ball, that change. I mean, it was over 10. It was like over 10 pounds, over like my, I think I had a 10-pound bowling ball, but then I went to like a 6-pounder because it's lighter and it's the same size. But that's how you make $100 in change. The old cigarette lighter bit and yelling at the top of your lungs. Yeah, anyway, it was an interesting night. I haven't had many shows like that before where it caused a weird chain reaction, like a wave all around the clown, with parents all digging in their pockets and tourists digging in their pockets, saying snide remarks about me and that I'm a loudmouth, obnoxious kid, and just pelting me with coins. I just picked it up, didn't even have to juggle. I do remember now that I'm talking about it that I did open up the trunk and I did do the torch routine. But it didn't matter at that point. I had the tips and stuff. And I don't think that I passed the hat again. I didn't even go around the crowd asking for tips at the end like I usually do because I had this huge sack of coins that I bent over and picked up from the old cigarette lighter bit. So anyway, thanks for listening to my unusual street story. I've got several of these, so I'm going to start making short videos on unusual street performer stories that are true from here in New York. And I hope you have a good night and safe travels. And if you were there at that show and you know who I am, thank you for your tips that night. And help pay for some groceries and help me continue to survive my hometown, New York. So safe travels to you. And that was the night at the South Street Seaport, the Pier Apron at Pier 17.